Indiana woo. We some Indiana moves. We some Indiana woo. We some Indiana moves. I'm an Indiana woo.
We don't drink on the street. We make the f***ing rules now. No more talk. Just win. Let's go.
Touchdown, I-N-D-Y, Anthony Richardson.
All right. This is Marcus Sniffles here with a recap of the Colts' loss to the Jaguars, 37-34. The curse continues. 10th game in a row we've lost in Jacksonville. Good God. Good God. Okay, this is very annoying. So, if you were to tell me when I woke up this morning that the Colts offense without without Anthony Richardson, without Jonathan Taylor, without Ryan Kelly would score 34 points, I would have told you that the curse would have been over. I would have almost guaranteed you that the Colts would have won this game if you told me the offense put up 34 points with Joe Flacco and Trey Sermon and Goodson. But no, the curse continues. We continue to lose in Jacksonville, 10th game in a row. I'm usually not one to believe in sports curses, but this is clearly a curse that is not going anywhere. So this is all on the defense. There's no real way to really put it. It's all on the defense. Granted, I will say, a lot of injuries. Obviously, Juju Brents, Kenny Moore, Tyquan Lewis, Samson and Buchan, Kwity Paye, DeForest Buckner. Who else was there missing? I said Kenny Moore. I think we're missing some other defensive tackles. Tyquan Lewis. So we had a lot of injuries on this defense, but EJ Speed was still there. Zaire Franklin was still there. Grover Stewart is still there. Laiatu Latu is still there. Julian Blackman is still there. Like, these guys, that should be enough to not give up. Let's see. We shouldn't be letting Trevor Lawrence, who's been having a terrible season, have a career day against us. He threw for 371 yards with 2 touchdowns, and the defense gave up a 65-yard run, an 85-yard catch, and a 61-yard catch. That's not going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it. There was 0 pass rush, 0 sacks, 0 pressures, 0 quarterback hits. You cannot win in the NFL playing that poorly on one side of the ball. It's one thing to be bad at pass defense. It's one thing to be bad as a rushing defense. To be bad at both of those things is a recipe for disaster. Recipe for disaster. Like, you cannot win like that. Like I said, our offense scored 34 points, and for the first time this season, we won the turnover battle and still lost the game. We forced 2 turnovers, and we only had 1 and still lost the game by 3 points. That should tell you pretty much everything you need to know about this game. And like I said before, a lot of our defensive players were hurt and injured and missing this game. But for Latu and Dio not to do anything, for Grover Stewart to not really do anything, for Zaire Franklin and EJ Speed to not do anything against a legitimately bad Jaguars offense, it's terrible. And the conversation this week is going to be about Gus Bradley's job security. I, for one, understand that. You know what? Let me pull up this stat real quick about how bad the Colts defense has been just this season. All right, so apparently the Colts defense is a defense you play when it's time to get your guys right. So week 1, Joe Mixon, 159 rushing yards. That was the most he'd had since 2021. Week 2, Josh Jacobs, 151 yards, the most he'd had since 2022. Week 3, Caleb Williams, a rookie quarterback, set a career high with 363 passing yards. Last week, week 4, Justin Fields, 367 yards passing, a career high. And then this week, 371 yards by Trevor Lawrence, a career high. everybody has had a career game on offense against our defense. Like, it's non-existent. So I think the conversation this week is going to be about firing Gus Bradley and if he should still be there. My only question would be is, you fired Gus Bradley and then what? Like, what happens then? Because DeForest Buckner's not coming back anytime soon, I don't believe. Kwity Paye's not really coming back anytime soon. Tyquan Lewis isn't coming back anytime soon. Kenny Moore doesn't seem to be coming back anytime soon. The players are the players that we got, and the players aren't making plays. Now you can, if you take away Gus Bradley and his, cover 3, soft defense, which he hasn't really been doing as often this year. He has been doing a little bit more blitzing. If you take away that, is whoever gets promoted, are they going to change the scheme of the defense? Are they going to install a totally new way of playing the game? Especially if you just promote from within, if you just make the D-line coach the defensive coordinator or the linebacker coach or the secondary coach. If you just promote from within, they're most likely going to run Gus Bradley's scheme. So I understand the idea of wanting to fire Gus Bradley. I just don't know if it helps right now. Now, firing him at the end of the season makes perfect sense. But if he gets fired, we got to start looking at aggressive, creative defensive play callers. Like, we have that on offense. We have an offensive play caller who is creative and aggressive and tries to do something new. He tries to do different things. Like, even in this game, instead of just running the ball, he just decided to attack with the pass, medium game passing, things of that nature. He did the best that he could. With Gus Bradley, he's more of a prevent, play it safe. We're not going to disguise anything. We're not going to really blitz too much. We're not going to do anything exotic. If I'm the Colts, I'm looking at what the Minnesota Vikings are doing with Brian Flores. Now, obviously, you can't get Brian Flores, but who's the guy that's underneath him? Who's his second in command? Hire that guy, because he's going to run what Brian Flores is running. The guy from Seattle, Mike Williams or Mike McDaniels, I think his name is. Yeah, Mike McDaniels. He kind of does that same kind of stuff. He did the same. He was Baltimore's defensive coordinator. Hire Baltimore's defensive coordinator. Whoever's running these defenses that put a lot of pressure and confuse quarterbacks, find that guy. Or find that guy and find the guy underneath that guy and hire him. But next year, 1,000% cannot be Gus Bradley. He cannot come back next year. I'm completely fine with him finishing out the season. I thought that our team would be a little bit better, but this season is pretty much all about Anthony Richardson's development as a quarterback, as a passer, as a player. If the defense isn't going to come along, then the defense isn't going to come along. Like, it is what it is. But I'm more so concerned about Anthony Richardson showing us what he can be next year. I'm not saying this year is a wash, but if the defense is going to be this bad where everybody's going to have a career year against us, then what do we really have to look for on that side of the ball? So I just don't think firing Gus Bradley right now is the answer. Fire him at the end of the season and find a better, more creative defensive play caller. I don't really have too many thoughts on the game outside of that. Like, the offense did the best they could with what they had. Prayers up to Will Fries. He had a pretty gruesome injury. I didn't see it because I don't like to look at that stuff, but his season is for sure over. So hopefully he gets back and healthy and get back to doing what he loves doing. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Do you think the Colts should fire Gus Bradley today? I mean, should they promote within? Who do you guys want to have as the new defensive coordinator going forward? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate you guys watching. I know this was a tough game to go through. Appreciate you guys rocking with me. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Peace.